our experience, whenever someone is killed in the line of duty, there is that public outcry. And at the funerals, large turnout, we get a lot of support, a lot of people go and sympathize with family and members of the force, the commanders and so on. But behind that is a horror story. We have a police corporal who was killed in a bank robbery in Essequibo, responding to the bank robbery. He had about 4 or 5 children. His wife got mentally deranged. The children grew up in different homes. They were displacement, separated. Some of them grew up with people who didn't even know or know that well. And it goes on and on and on. And I'll show some of them that we asked the foundation to start with, some of the more recent cases. Apart from that, their office is housed in the police property, so we pay all the overheads. There are no overhead expenses. Their assessment of needs would require either people coming for them to interview or they visiting homes, and the police is taking care of all of that, providing the transportation and making contact and secretarial services and so on. So there's no expense. The money that you give here going directly to education and welfare of these people. I did explain to you that my coming here was something I had to do. And so again, there is no expense coming out of me coming here and to the other places that I will be going to raise funds. So all of this going directly, there's no expense whatsoever. Corporal Cleto was on a patrol and they saw some men in a car acting suspiciously. He came, the car actually, the Challenger did not stop but ran into a red light where vehicles were moving in the other direction. So they had to stop. And he came out, went to them, 2 of them jumped out of the back seat, both of them shot at him, killed in the first burst. Left behind a 3-year-old, his spouse was a store clerk, and you know what a store clerk owns in Guyana? The future of that 3-year-old is under tremendous stress and risk. Constable Pontless, if you remember, there was a Regent Street incident, Regent Street, Middle Street incident where a guy, a businessman, who went berserk and started shooting at people all over. He was one of the first policemen that responded. 2 of them were shot and killed. Him being one of them. He has a 13-year-old, a 4-year-old. His wife was not working. So eventually we offer employment and, you know, what happened with them is that the government gives whoever is the beneficiary $1 million. The police force will take care of the funeral expenses, but that's it. That $1 million in 2 months, gone. And they're left to struggle. And the salaries that they're earning can't pay life insurance and so on. So most of our frontline officers, if not all of them, are without life insurance. So there's nothing. Corporal Elias responded himself and a colleague to the presence of a person who was wanted, I think for armed robbery or something of the sort. And they went into a yard, different sides of the house. He was confronted with the guy in close proximity, so he held on to him. And during that scuffle, a round went off, he was shot and killed. His wife was operating a business with his support. Because of the depression and because his support is no longer there, that business flopped. 14-year-old, 11-year-old, 10-year-old, we employed her. It's the most that we can do. And the final case was about a little below 2 months ago. Constable Wilson was in a patrol vehicle when they were called to give backup to a Marine patrol that had tackled a man and who was armed with a knife, and they felt that they need backup to approach him. He was armed with a rifle at the time, breached the SOPs, I don't know. He was pretty confident in himself, so he gave his firearm to one of his colleagues, and he tackled the guy with a knife. The guy stabbed him about 5 times. And when he fell down, the guy cut his throat, another deranged person. So he killed himself, but the Constable Dawson died as well. He has a wife, he has a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. The wife is a part-time worker at the call center. So a lot of times these people move back to their parents, that is the adult, the main adult, for support. A lot of times it becomes a burden after a while, and the parent just can't do more. And they're really horrible stories after, I guess, that whole range of person that got killed. So this is a driver behind what we are doing now. It's an extremely noble cause. I am full of energy to continue to do this within diaspora with everyone who I engage. Outside of diaspora, other organizations, whatever. Dr. Naimatali has been around for a while, and he has been engaged in services in different parts, volunteer services in different parts of the world, so he's using his contacts as well. This has been launched recently. On that day, we invited some business people, and we raised about $4 million just when we launched it. I know government is going to give this foundation a subvention, but we have to continue to raise funds because this is everyday expenditure. So they will have to do disbursement on a very regular basis to make sure that at the end of the day, these children are educated. These are persons who took a decision and paid the ultimate price because of the decision they take to protect the communities that they serve. We all join, and when we sign up, we expect that we'll retire at the end of the day. We know the risks that we're taking, but we still go, and we do that. So some of us make it, some of us unfortunately don't. And we do the best in the circumstances what we can do. So I wish to thank you all for the donation that you have made tonight, for coming out and listening to me. And I'm also will spend a few minutes if there are questions that anyone wants to ask about the foundation, about police services in Guyana. So thank you very much.
Commissioner, thank you very much. And we're seeing a lot of work are in the works. It's like planting a seed before you can get to where it is. So it takes some time. What we're going to do, I know it's a long presentation, we'll let you have some water. We have some nice dessert. We'll have the music play for about 10 minutes while we get something, and then we'll take some questions and call it a night. Is that good? All right, so let's, you'll get your chance to questions, please. Oh, sure, yeah, I'm going to be here, I'll come in around. Just raise your hands, all right? And again, please support this cause. So we'll break for a little music, and we'll have dessert.